In this segment, we're going to get ready to go to bed. And you might want to put on socks when you do. So let's go over putting on socks and the safe way to do that when you're still recovering, maybe still have some effects of anesthesia, and you definitely don't have your full abdominal support yet. So I'm going to sit on the bed to put on my socks. I just showed you how to get in and out of your stretchy pants or your sweatpants, but socks are another matter. Really reaching all the way down to your feet when you're in recovery is best done sitting down. So I'm going to go ahead and walk myself back on the bed using the strength of my hands behind me. Again, your abdominals are not ready to do that work for you. So you want to use your hands maybe in a light fist or your palms as much as possible to walk you back into certain positions. And we're about to do that again when we lie down. So now I am going to take a foot across my knee. Now I have enough flexibility to be able to do that. If you don't have that flexibility, then you might want to swing your legs all the way onto the bed into a bent knee position to try this. And then I'm going to reach for the foot, making sure that I am sitting all the way back on the bed. So my mattress is a bit high, which means that my free foot down here does not touch the ground. I'm just going to put that leg down. I'm going to start to lift the next leg, but I'm going to use my arms to help it. Again, because those hip flexors in combination with those lower abs are not ready to do that work. And then I'm going to put my sock on here across my leg. So now my feet are going to be warm for bedtime, and I am ready to try to lie down. Now for many of us who have had either upper abdominal or lower abdominal pelvic surgery, lying flat down is not comfortable. So I'm going to show you the sleeping position that I used last night, and I'm also going to show you the tips that I have for relieving some of the pressure and the torque in that propped lying down position. So I'm going to go ahead and push up out of bed to show you what I have here. I recommend laying down a rough towel. So the roughest towel in the house. This is not the super soft, slick one. If it's slick on the surface, that may not be as useful. What you want is something to provide you some friction under your feet, so that if you want to maintain a bent knee position, you can and still be mostly relaxed. So first step is to lay down a rough towel. Now I have on my socks. My feet are going to be warm for the evening. I'm going to walk myself back on the bed, again, by just pulling back in the hip, so pulling back that pelvis a little, but also with the strength of my hands behind me. Now I'm going to get both these legs into bed. So to do that, I'm going to go one at a time, and I might even put my across the body hand under my thigh to help it over. And then I can use that same hand to help guide the following leg up into the bed. Now again, we're going to use the strength of our palms and our arms here to scoot back and lie back on propped up pillows. I felt like this was helpful and important for me because even though I don't want to flex my spine or extend my spine, I'm also not ready to lie down flat. Now I'm going to use, again, the strength of my hands behind my hamstrings to help myself back onto my pillows. Now you could also do this assistance with your hands behind you, but do use your arms to help yourself back onto your pillows. Now that I'm here in my semi-propped up position, I'm just going to give myself a moment because I had quite a few pieces moving around inside me during surgery: the camera, the scalpel, the laser, the camera, whatever. So there was a lot going on in there, and I can definitely feel it today. So I'm just going to give myself a moment in this position to let my organs and my mesentery settle. Now I'm going to bend my knees again with the help of my hands. This was helpful for me. I was not ready for my legs to be out straight. Now that I have the friction of the towel underneath my feet, my sock feet, I can bring my blankie over me. Now, even this much was kind of intense. If you need to assist yourself in adjusting to this position, I found it helpful to press into the tops of my thighs with my arms, the strength of my arms, with nice wide palms until I could feel my insides settling down, settling down, settling down. If there's pain, push again on your thighs. Get just a little bit of space between the tops of your hips and your ribs. Take away some of that tension in the trunk with the strength of your palms and your arms into your thigh bones. Once I got a little more adjusted to that, I could walk down a little further with my pelvis. Again, push into those thighs. Give yourself some supported space to give your irritated insides a chance to settle. If you need to adjust your pillows, if you can, put your hands behind you to push you up. Your abdominals are not going to be ready to pull you up there. Lie back. Again, press into those thighs if you need to. Settle. And then you can take your blankie over yourself. And I did sleep with my knees up much of the night last night. If a towel does not provide you enough resistance, if you have a bolster style pillow, it might work with a regular pillow. I don't know. I didn't test it. I'm going to push myself up with the strength of my hand. You can put this bolster as a resistance where the tops of your feet will go. And then you can put your toes, the balls of your feet, onto the bolster. Or you might be able to snug your feet under it and the bolster will resist against your arches. And that will help hold you in a bent knee position and still allow you to relax. So here was the position that I slept in, which was mostly propped by pillows and then with my knees bent instead of straight. And I used a bolster or a rough towel to provide enough friction under my feet so that that bent knee position could still be mostly relaxed. Now, the position that you wake up in might surprise you, might not. You might be exactly where you were. But if you do end up lying down, getting out of bed is a whole other challenge. So let's review how to get out of bed, some of my favorite tips for getting up. And I actually practice these on the mat, and they work beautifully in the bed when you need some support for that spinal lateral flexion that you're going to use to sit up. So whether you've managed to lie down on your back or maybe on your less affected side from the surgery, getting up is also going to require the strength of your hands. So let's say I managed to wake up on my side, but now I need to get out of bed. The best way to do this is, again, with the strength of your arms. You're going to want to put a palm well superior. That means above the heart toward the head, almost right at your face, to push down into the top over the body arm. Once you get enough height, you can bring the bottom arm into it as well to push you the rest of the way up. Now that you're mostly sitting, you can again use the strength of this hand that's still underneath you to keep you up as you bring your legs over the bed, and you use that top arm now to help bring the top leg over to a sitting up position as well. When you go to lie back down, similarly, you're going to use the support of one hand and then the support of the other to rotate around in bed. And then that last move to get that following leg into bed, you use a hand behind the thigh. So I'm going to straighten out the covers here and show you this bed exit again, because I really do think it's important for you to be able to visualize. So I'm going to walk myself onto the bed just to show you on a more smooth presentation how to get out of bed after you've ended up lying down. So let's say I'm lying on my left side. This is my less affected side, actually. I should have started with this one. It's the hand that's on top that's going to help you first. And you're going to put it well forward of the chest. I know a lot of times when we exercise, we use it here. But you still have this whole heavy part of the head and the upper torso to get up first. So put your hand well forward of your chest, almost in front of your face, to start to press up. Once you get up high enough, you can fold this underneath arm over, transfer weight into it, and push yourself the rest of the way up. This is just a beautiful way to get both in and out of bed. If you want to lie down on your less affected side, start from your sitting, reach out on your less affected side. So this is my side that's in less pain. Reach out, reach out, reach out. Strength of the palm, lowering you down. Now take the top arm across the body, put it well forward of the chest. Continue to reach out and lie down using pressure in the hands until you can release that pressure and you're successfully lying down. So again, to get up across the body with the top arm well forward. Push into that palm, get the lift of the head and chest, fold the bottom arm over, press into it to transfer your weight the rest of the way up. And I use this on the mat for a warm-up, but it's also really served me getting in and out of bed after surgery. To get the rest of the way out of bed once you're up, scoot forward again, weight into those palms, get the feet fully on the floor, hinge at the hips, push away from the bed with a nice straight torso, hinge at the hips, and then bring your torso up on top of those hip bones. Because you're not going to feel like crunching over. I mean, I can't even demonstrate it right now. There's just no way you're going to flex through this spine and come up with some sort of extension. So you want to use those arms to get those feet flat on the floor, and then push with the arms, a hinge, a break at the hips, but a flat torso. Leave those fingers there as long as you need before you come up. You can leave one hand on the bed as you now rotate to a freestanding position. The last thing that I'm going to go over is how to reach for something on the floor. Now, I know all of us coming out of surgery have been told not to lift, push, or pull. But unless you're just on total bed rest and you can't move enough to even pick up something light, there will be times where you're not picking up anything heavy. You know, we're not talking about laundry baskets or pets or kids here. Just something that's now on the floor that you want to get to, but can't be done just the quickest way possible. So I have placed my slippers on the floor. And again, the trick is to use a supporting object in your hand. So my slippers are right down here. I'm looking at them. I see the corner of my bed to help me. I'm going to place the palm that's closest to the bed onto the bed. I'm going to hinge at the hips. That means that you are flexing over at the hip joint, but that you're not folding over in the spine. I'm going to hinge at the hips, get my free arm ready to reach down and grab a slipper. Look at that. Now I'm going to put the slipper somewhere easy. Going to get the next slipper. Supporting hand, supporting object, hinge at the hips, straight torso for as long as possible. Your last little reach might involve some thoracic flexion, but not abdominal. Come the rest of the way up and put your slipper on the bed. Do not put your slippers on while standing. Do it the same way we did socks. Come back here, wiggle your way back onto the bed with support from your hands. And then use the same hand as leg to help a leg across and onto the femur. Put your slipper on, set that down. Use the same hand, the same leg to bring it up on top of the other leg and put your slipper on. Now, if you cannot do this figure 4 position that we just achieved here, have your slippers on the bed, swing yourself over onto the bed, both feet, okay? And then bend the knee in a little bit froggy, little froggy style there. Put your slipper on. Use your hand to help pull your leg up so you can get that slipper over the side of your foot. Use your hand to get your slipper onto your foot. So you're using your hands to pull your legs closer to you because your hip flexors deep between the femur and the lower back, they're not really ready to fully flex because when they pull, your hip flexors pull on the back of that spine, the abdominals get engaged as well. So you're using your arms almost as those muscles that are inside, but you're using them on the outside of the body to lever the legs. Now you can swing your legs back around. You have your slippers on. Congratulations. Getting out of bed, feet close to the floor to where maybe they're brushing it. Put your palms down. Lean a flat torso out over the legs. Come up, straighten out that hinge at the hips. See how I have one hand still on the bed, even if it's just a few fingers. Pivot. Now I'm facing out and I'm ready to do my little walk to wherever. So those are my tips for getting in and out of bed and also for putting on slippers. Reaching for something very light, safely, again, using a supporting hand on a supporting object. So thank you for joining me for this part of post-operative recovery and tips. This is Body Conscious Pilates, and my name is Allison. Happy healing.